I've been speaking full-time for about 4 years. I currently speak to about 250,000 high school and junior high students all over the country. And I've learned a lot from the students that I've spoken to these last 4 years. I hope that today you'll learn something from me, but maybe more importantly, I would like to hear from you and would love to give you an opportunity to write, to talk to me, to ask questions, and we're going to get an opportunity to do that here later. But I really hope that you'll be able to take something from this back with you and that it will change the way you think and hopefully then change the way you act. Before I began speaking full-time, I spent 9 years counseling in crisis pregnancy centers in Chicago and in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And for 9 years, I'd have girls in my office, and these girls would say to me, Pam, if I would have known that this is what was going to happen to me, I would have made a different choice. Nobody told me. I began to ask these girls in my office, what could we have said? What could someone have said to you before you made your choice that might have helped you to have made a better choice? And after 9 years, I realized there were a lot of students out there making choices about sex, having absolutely no idea what the consequence of that choice would be. That's what we're going to talk about today. I want you to understand that I didn't come to your school to decide for you what you're going to do about sex. It's not why I'm here. I can't make this choice for you. I understand that. Your parents can't make this choice for you, although I'm sure there are a few of them that wish they could. I've already told my 10 and 11-year-old at home that when they turn 12, I'm putting them in a box, locking it, and feeding them through a window till they're 19. Then I started speaking at colleges and had to up my age to 24. I'd love to protect my kids from the pain I have to see every day. Can't. All I can do is love them, tell them the truth, hope they make good choices. My goal this morning is this, that none of you would be able to leave here and ever again have to say to a physician, to a counselor, to your future husband or wife, nobody told me. I didn't know. Today you're going to be told. What you choose to do when you walk out of here is up to you. But we're going to take this short period of time to think about one of the most important choices you have to make as a young person. Let me start by saying this. God created sex. It's awesome. It's a great thing. God wants you to have awesome sex. He does. He made it. He created it. He can tell us how to use it. See, but God created sex with boundaries. And when sex happens within the boundaries for which it was created, it's awesome. When it happens outside of boundaries, it's horribly destructive. It's kind of like fire. Fire in my fireplace at home in Minnesota is a good thing. Heats my house, looks pretty. Fire in the middle of my living room floor, however, is not a positive thing. It could burn my house down and hurt my family. It has to have boundaries. Sex is the same way. You guys tell me today. What's the boundary God created sex for? What's the boundary? What do you think? Marriage, there's the right answer. A lot of you don't believe that. I've had church kids in my office, kids who went to confirmation, went to church every week. I've had those kids in my office look at me and say, but we loved each other. So, God didn't create sex for love. That's not the boundary. God created sex for one context, and one only, and that context is permanent, lifetime commitment. Marriage, not love. Now, sometimes in marriage there's love. That's helpful. Sometimes there's not. Not the criteria. 14 years ago, I walked an aisle and I said these words to this young man whom I loved. You and you only. For better, for worse. For richer, for poorer. In sickness and in health, till death do us part. I was brain damaged. So was he. Guess what we got? Sicker, poorer, and worse. That's what marriage is all about. Sorry to burst your bubble. Somehow before we get married, we think marriage is going to be happily ever after, excitement, heart-pounding romance, one big long date. And I know why you guys think that, because you look at your parents' marriage, and that is the most romantic relationship you have ever known, right? You know yours is going to look like that. I got married, thought it was going to be one big long date. My marriage didn't look like that. I looked at my husband one day and said, my goodness, it's got to be you, because I'm the most exciting thing that ever lived. Obviously, if there are problems in this marriage, it is your fault. Maybe if I dumped you, got a better guy, I'd have a great marriage. You know what? My marriage has problems. I'm in it. Someday when you get married, your marriage is going to have problems because you're going to be in it. There is a God and you're not him. You're not perfect. Person you marry isn't going to be perfect. I didn't say if. I didn't say I'll stay married to you if you treat me the way I expect to be treated. Put your socks where they belong, and if you don't gain 500 pounds in the next 10 years. I didn't say that. I said I'm committed to you for the rest of my life. Students, that's the safe context for sex. Not love, not mushy feelings, commitment. See, because if you're going to open yourself up so completely, so intimately, if you are going to give everything you are to somebody else, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, if you're going to become one flesh, you better know that they're not going to walk away. Because if they do, you'll pay. You'll pay. There's a cost.